Hey guys, Tronicle here, and you may remember my first video, which was a mock review of my, at the time, self-mock. And it was either in that video or a video after that, where I said that I wanted to do more mock reviews in the future at some point. Well, it's 8 months later, and I'm finally doing another one. Today I'm reviewing my mock Toxar, who is the main villain of my series Bionicle Plagued and is the founder of the Plague Prowler organization, who is the main group of villains. And as for backstory and stuff, that's going to be explained later on in the show or in a different stop motion or sometime in the future. His character is kind of a mystery, and his backstory is kind of a mess right now, and how I'm writing it. But you'll see in the future. So on to the actual mock. So for backstory on how I built him, I literally just built him to be the leader of the Plague Prowlers. And at the time, I had just gotten a Bionicle eBay lot, so I had a bunch of new parts to work with. So I built him up. So onto the actual build, shall we? And I forgot to mention actually that so a mock review, I really probably don't need to explain this, but whatever, I'm doing this anyway. So a mock review is going to be where I'm basically just reviewing the mock, and then a mock showcase is going to be like what I did for Spine Rider. Who is this guy? Let me just grab him, might as well. Here we go, Spine Rider, this guy. A mock review is going to be what I did for him, and if you want to see what, or not a mock review, a mock showcase, I made this confusing. A mock review is what I'm doing now, and then a mock showcase or slideshow is what I did for him. Go watch that video. It's just called Spine Rider Bioformer, if you want to see more on that, but yeah. So that's how I'm going to be kind of like doing videos on my mocks now. So, yeah, on to the review of this guy, or of Toxar. So, starting with the head, pretty simple, just used the Toa Metru head, I believe that's where it was first introduced. I used the Paraka Light of stock for literally no other reason other than I had it. And then I used the Axon mask because I had just gotten it in the lot, and it had always been one of my favorite masks, and I just really wanted to use it on a mock. And I haven't been using it, and at the time I wasn't using it on a mock, so I thought I would use it on this mock. And I added these two Ninjago ornamental blades that give this kind of like crown look, which I thought looked pretty good. And then, I said that kind of weird. Pretty good. And then for the body, so this mock is definitely one of my favorite mocks, and the body is definitely my most favorite part about it. I don't think that Grammar is correct, but whatever. So, basically, my favorite part about it is I use these Ninjago snakes, which are held in with these, like, they're held in place with these Technic pins from rotating, or they pivot like a tiny bit, but it's really not noticeable. And then they're holding in these blade pieces, which are attached by a stud, and then the snakes are attached to these system pieces here. And the blades create this kind of like kilt, I believe that's what it'd be called, look. Or kind of like an armored, like, it's kind of like what samurai have, I believe. That's not a kilt, no, that's like what, I don't know what the correct term for this would be, but this kind of like armored skirt, I kind of like that look, so and I thought that kind of showed it well. So, yeah, I thought that gave a pretty good look. And then, for the back, I just threw on this, Breeze armor piece because, just because it was big, I could fill out a bunch of space. And then for the actual core body, I used this. Oh, was it? It was either Paraka or Nika torso. I believe it was Paraka torso. And then the kind of just standard pelvis piece, just for the core, and I just built over it, and it worked. And then actually, one thing that I would, if I were to go back and change this mock, which I probably won't anytime soon, but if I were, one thing that I would change is I really don't like how short the lower body is, and I'll go into why when I go into the legs, but yeah, that's probably my least favorite part about it. Again, I'll go into that later. But, so onto the arms. The left arm's really just kind of your standard CCBS build, and I went for a kind of asymmetric design to kind of represent how he's like, he's like those arms are like made out of toxins, and then the other arms are kind of more kind of like bio-organic or biomechanical. So, yeah, this arm's kind of just your standard CCBS arm. And then for this arm, the lower arm's pretty self-explanatory. But this is this is more of a custom-built thing. And here's a little fun fact about Toxar. So, this piece right here was originally just held in by friction in here. And that was horrible, because if I bumped the figure, it would always just fall out. And that also didn't help that this joint here is incredible. In fact, I Sharpied it, which you can see kind of like the Sharpie coming off on the ball joint. But, yeah, this arm was incredibly weak, so if I bumped it, it would move, and then it would always fall out. So I recently attached it via a pin, and you're going to see a lot of trans neon green Borak eyes in this guy, because I had a lot of them, and they worked for this guy. So I mean, you're going to see a lot of them. You're going to see a lot of parts that fit the color scheme. That wasn't something I needed to point out. I don't know how that came up, but yeah. I made a custom. This was a kind of just custom built upper arm, and yeah, I think it worked out pretty well. With kind of like how all the lime green is in one section, and then I like how this armor piece covers everything. So yeah, thought it worked pretty well. Then yeah, like I said, the lower arm was pretty self-explanatory. And then for his weapons, all right, now I wish I had these in the studio to do kind of like a side-by-side representation, but what inspired me to make these weapons were, if anyone who knows Nerf, you may know the Alien Menace axes. I didn't know what to do for weapons for him, and I kind of built it up, and I was inspired by the Alien Menace axes, and I was like, that's a cool look, I'm gonna go with that. And the whole idea was like, he would like shoot up, and then it would shoot kind of like arcs of like toxic energy, and he could also melee people because of the blades. And yeah, I thought it ended up, the weapons ended up looking pretty good. Actually, one thing was I originally didn't have enough black pins, or I don't know how, but I didn't have enough like stud. Do I have any? I don't think I do. Any of the like stud pin pieces in gray. I only had them in blue at the time, so I had to use them on the mock, and then I used blue and red for the weapon. It really didn't look good, but recently I've changed it, and he looks a lot better now. So now onto the legs, which are probably, his arm's probably not going to stay up. I'll just move it back. Alright, so the legs are probably my least favorite part about the mock. So basically, when I was building it, I kind of built everything up here. Then when I got to the legs, I built the legs, and then when it came time to attach them, I realized that they were, like, way too, like, he looked more stocky than I thought he would because of just the proportions, because of how, how far up this pelvis piece is located. And that's not really what I was going for. I wasn't really going for a brute. I was more going for kind of like a business, kind of like an evil businessman, sort of. So if I were to go back, I'd definitely move the pelvis piece down. I hope this is called the pelvis piece, because if not, I'm going to look really stupid. Yeah, it's called the pelvis piece. Yeah, so I'd probably go down and move it down to make him look just a little bit taller, and I'd probably make him look a little bit better. But for the actual legs, this leg's just kind of your average CCBS build. I added some system elements to the back just for more armor, and then, I used the trans green, and then the feet are just kind of also, I did the technique here where you can put system pieces on the original Mata hands, and actually I used a lot of system. I used a lot of system on this mock, but I used these system pieces on the back of the legs to create kind of like a slope to going up into the foot. And then this leg is just your average kind of Gen 1 Toa leg, so the legs and the limbs are pretty simple. But yeah, overall I'm really happy with how this mock came out. And he was really the first, really intricate mock I made that wasn't just a CCBS mock. That didn't, other than, I built CCBS. Until I built this mock, I've mainly only built CCBS mocks, and then mocks that had, a custom torso and then CCBS limbs. So, yeah, I'm really happy with how this guy came out. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you want to see more mock reviews or mock slideshows in the future, just let me know in the comments. And then for this week, stay tuned for the Tyrannical reviews which is norm. So yeah, I don't know why I just speeded for that last part, but yeah, goodbye.